Hey there, history fans. Welcome to another thrilling episode where we dive deep into the annals of time and uncover the stories that shaped our world. John Oliver here, ready to take you on a wild ride through time. Today we're setting our time machines to the early 20th century, a period of immense change and upheaval. Today's destination, World War I, the Great War, the one that was supposed to end all wars. Spoiler alert, it didn't. This conflict reshaped borders, toppled empires, and set the stage for the modern world. Get ready for a story full of drama, intrigue, and enough historical figures to make your head spin. From the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand to the signing of the Treaty of Versailles, every moment is packed with significance. We're talking alliances, battles, and enough trench foot to make a podiatrist faint. The intricate web of alliances pulled nations into a conflict that no one could have predicted would be so devastating. So, grab your helmets, metaphorically of course, unless you're reading this in a war museum, and let's dive into the chaos that was World War I. We'll explore the trenches, the home fronts, and the technological advancements that changed warfare forever. We'll also delve into the personal stories of the soldiers who fought bravely and the families who waited anxiously for their return. Letters from the front lines give us a glimpse into their hopes, fears, and daily struggles. And let's not forget the home front. Women stepped into roles traditionally held by men, working in factories and serving as nurses. Children collected scrap metal for the war effort, and entire communities rallied together in support of their troops. The technological advancements of World War I were staggering. Tanks rolled onto battlefields for the first time. Airplanes engaged in dogfights in the skies, and chemical warfare introduced a new level of horror with the use of gas masks. As we journey through this tumultuous time, we'll witness the highs and lows, the victories and the losses. The armistice brought an end to the fighting, but the repercussions of the war were felt for decades to come. Even today, the legacy of World War I is remembered through memorials and moments of silence. It's a stark reminder of the cost of conflict and the importance of striving for peace. So, buckle up, history buffs. We're about to embark on an unforgettable journey through one of the most significant events in human history. Stay tuned as we unravel the complexities and stories of World War I. Our story begins in 1914, a year that would forever change the course of history. Europe was a continent brimming with political tension, alliances, and rivalries. The stage was set for a dramatic series of events that no one could have predicted. It all started with a dude named Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, a position that made him one of the most important figures in Europe at the time. Imagine being a prince, but with even more responsibilities and expectations. Franz Ferdinand was not just any royal. He was a symbol of the empire's future. He had grand plans for reforming the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which he believed would strengthen it. He was often seen in his military uniform or royal attire, embodying the power and prestige of his position. Anyway, Frankie, that's what his friends called him probably, decided to visit Sarajevo. Sarajevo was a city in Bosnia which was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The visit was meant to be a goodwill tour, but it turned out to be a catastrophic decision. Bad idea, Frankie. A Serbian nationalist group called the Black Hand was like, not in our town. The Black Hand was a secret military society formed by Serbian officers. They were fiercely nationalistic and wanted to see Bosnia break away from Austro-Hungarian rule and join Serbia. They sent some guys to, deal with the situation. These men were young, passionate, and willing to do whatever it took to achieve their goals. They meticulously planned the assassination, knowing that killing Franz Ferdinand could ignite a larger conflict. One thing led to another, and bam! On June 28, 1914, Gavrilo Princip, one of the conspirators, managed to shoot the Archduke and his wife, Sophie, as they were driving through the streets of Sarajevo. The assassination was a shocking event that sent ripples throughout Europe. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated. Not good. This single act of violence set off a chain reaction of events that led to the outbreak of World War I. The assassination of Franz Ferdinand is often cited as the spark that ignited the powder keg of Europe, leading to one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. So the Archduke gets iced and everyone freaks out. This wasn't just any old political assassination, it was the spark that ignited a powder keg. Europe was already a tense place, with nations eyeing each other suspiciously. And this event was the tipping point. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary by a Serbian nationalist set off a chain reaction that no one could stop. See, Europe was this big, tangled web of alliances. Imagine a giant spider web, but instead of catching flies, it caught entire countries. These alliances were meant to create a balance of power, but they ended up creating a situation where a conflict between two countries could drag in many others. It was like a domino effect, where one push could topple the whole structure. It was like a really complicated game of telephone, but instead of whispers, they used treaties. These treaties were agreements that promised military support if one of the Allied countries was attacked. So when Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, it wasn't just a local conflict anymore. It was a signal for all the Allied nations to get involved. Austria-Hungary was like, Serbia, you're in trouble. They issued an ultimatum to Serbia with demands so harsh that Serbia couldn't possibly agree to all of them. When Serbia didn't comply, Austria-Hungary declared war. This was the first domino to fall, and Serbia was like, Russia, help. Serbia had a close relationship with Russia, who saw themselves as the protector of Slavic nations. So, Russia started to mobilize its army to defend Serbia. This mobilization was seen as a threat by Austria-Hungary and its allies, and Russia was like, Germany, back off. Germany, allied with Austria-Hungary, saw Russia's mobilization as an act of aggression. So, Germany declared war on Russia. The web of alliances was pulling more countries into the conflict, and Germany was like, France, you're with them. France was allied with Russia, so Germany declared war on France too. The conflict was spreading like wildfire, and it was becoming a full-blown war, and France was like, it was a mess. The alliances that were supposed to keep the peace had instead created a situation where a conflict between two countries could escalate into a world war. And that's exactly what happened. The stage was set for one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. World War I was all about trench warfare. Imagine digging a big ditch, filling it with mud, rats, and the occasional enemy soldier, and calling it home. Not exactly a five-star hotel. Soldiers would spend months in these trenches, fighting over tiny bits of land. It was brutal, muddy, and just plain awful. And Section 5. New toys not for kids. World War I was a technological free-for-all. It was like a really depressing science fair, with everyone showing off their latest killing machines. We're talking machine guns, tanks, airplanes, and even poison gas. Not exactly the kind of toys you'd want under your Christmas tree. Section 6. The world's a stage for war, sadly. While all this craziness was going down in Europe, the rest of the world was like, are we invited to this party? And the answer was, unfortunately, yes. The war spread to Africa, Asia, and even the Middle East. It was a truly global conflict. Section 7. The world not having a good time. As you can imagine, having a giant war isn't exactly good for anyone. Millions of people died, economies crumbled, and the world was left in a state of shock. It was a dark time, to say the least. Section 8, treaty time. I'll spoil it, it doesn't go well. Finally, in 1918, the war ended. Everyone got together to sign the Treaty of Versailles, which was basically a giant, you're grounded, note to Germany. They had to take the blame for the war, pay a ton of money, and give up some of their land. Unsurprisingly, this didn't exactly make them happy campers. Section 9, and they all lived. Well, you know, so there you have it. World War I, a story of alliances, trenches, and really bad decisions. It was a messy, complicated affair that left the world forever changed. But hey, at least we learned from our mistakes, right? Right?